Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Lord have mercy. Whoa, well.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, the Cleveland Clinic, Duty Free Caribbean, Easy Car Sales, Fine Threads, Grand Bahama News, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Percy's Island Games, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
And good afternoon, good day. This is Pearly in the house, Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. It's a Talking Heads Thursday. So good to be here with you today. It's a little wet out there. Please don't take your time. Be all right. You'll be okay. Just take your time. And it's getting a little snuggle type weather, cold weather coming in. Oh, my goodness. But it's so good to be here with you today. And I need some people to be talking heads today, so I'm going to tell you how to do that.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
You can call me at 323-6232, 325-4316, or you can call me at 325-4259, or you can get me on the toll-free line 242-300-5720. And, of course, you can always text me on the text line powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. And it's good. It's so good. What's happening in the headlines today, Mr. Producer?
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
6 FNM MPs suspended. Ordered to sit out for 2 sittings of the House. PM says Commission of Inquiry will be too expensive. Voice of the people won't be silenced. And 7 charged with $15 million drug conspiracy. Boy, and they got a little picture of PLPs gathered outside the House of Assembly. I can comment on that later. And in the business section, BICA Q1 deficit spike highlights areas that require targeted action. Government reported a $185.4 million deficit in Q1 of 2024 and 2025 fiscal year, $61.5 million in Q1 of prior fiscal year. Airport fees forced Flamingo Airline to increase ticket prices between Grand Bahama and Bimini. Building suppliers says $57 million construction increase not being felt in their stores. And cloud security experts warn mobile phone users to stop SMS messaging. And Securities Commission launches to protest Bahamians from fraud. Yes, people, so good to be here today. I got a special guest in the house with me today. We can continue this conversation that Chivago started and others have been today. It's been a hot week politically in this country. Boy, I don't know. My special guest, former member of parliament for the Bean and Grantstown constituency, Brother Travis Robinson, how are you?
Earl, I'm doing pretty good, man. And good evening to your listening audience. This rainy, wet day. To the motorists, I hope you drive safe out there and definitely drive, like they say, to arrive alive.
Amen, I say. Finally got you on the show with me. So happy that I have been trying. God to have you here.
Earl, it's one phone call.
I know.
It's always good to be with
one
you.
shout, eh?
That's it.
So how you been?
So far, I've been pretty good. I think between last week and this week has been a very active week for me, and definitely week for the Free National Movement, as we have been trying to hold the government feet to the fire. So I've been making my rounds, myself and other party members, doing what the people expect the opposition to do. But
before we get all into that, I want to talk about what Travis Robinson has been doing. I mean, since I And I take all of my MPs who lost. You got that cut come going in 2021.
boy.
What have you been doing since then? I mean,
Well, since then, pilot by profession.
all right.
And so I've been leading up to about a month ago. I've been doing flying in the U.S. Throughout the family islands. One of my childhood loves that I finally had an opportunity to go back to school and to finish up.
Okay.
Did my bachelor's, master's, commercial license, etc. So I'm doing pretty well.
Okay.
And I've been encouraging other young persons like myself as well to continue to follow your dreams.
Okay.
This is a country of tremendous opportunities. Many persons go off to study to get a better way for them and their families, and hopefully they come back like me and thousands of other young persons like myself to build this country, one Bahamas.
So I am the co-host or the sidekick, whatever you want to call me, for Naughty and this show. And we're neighbors. We're both in the area of the great area of Fort Charlotte. So when he heard
he's a
you were
good man.
coming, he says, I think that young man has some aspiring aspirations for Fort Charlotte. And is that so? And if so, what have you been doing?
Well, that is correct. So, I'm a potential candidate for the Fort Charlotte constituency. The party will make its final decision through the council and other procedures. But so far, I've been working actively on the ground in Fort Charlotte with the F&M Fort Charlotte Association. We've been doing a number of feeding programs, back to school. This year, we had our third annual back to school event. We've been knocking on doors, which is more important, speaking with residents, dealing with concerns. We've been actively on the ground, trimming some trees from over power lines and putting up street lights, believe it or not.
Really? Okay.
Through different dead end corners that have very dark in the night, protection, security for women and girls, single families. Active on the ground.
Okay.
I intend to continue that ranks throughout the Fort Charlotte constituency, and hopefully the people give me that opportunity.
But how has the response
them.
been?
Tremendous, overwhelming, very positive responses. Persons are excited to see myself and the team. They knew the work we would have done in the previous constituency, and they're excited for what we're going to bring to the table.
One of my texts say, stick with being town, bro.
Well, listen, I tell them I am, as being in politics, I know politics is ever evolving, and so I'm at the discretion of the party, who ultimately will make the decision as to where any candidate will go. Okay. Again, this is potential, or some would put it aspirant candidates, and so I'm at the direction of the party and specifically the council as to where individuals will go. But I tell them one thing: wherever I go, I'm here to serve, whether it's Baintown, Fort Charlotte, or anywhere else. Service to people anywhere, service to people everywhere. And so because I'm in this to serve, wherever you put me, I'm going to serve and serve the Bahamian people to the best of my ability.
Okay. Let's get into what's happening. Now, the last couple of weeks, this has been a very interesting time for our Bahamian people in terms of the political arena. We know a couple of weeks ago the House was suspended when the leader of the opposition wanted to get an opportunity to speak. He was not allowed to speak. It got into a little argument. And then last week, he went into the House and was physically, him and five other colleagues were physically removed from the House of Assembly. And we saw pictures of it, and Chicago got into it a little bit today. And then yesterday, they were suspended from the House for 2 sittings. What say you? We do know that some of the things, and based on the rules of the House of Assembly, some laws were broken, some hard decisions were made by the opposition, understanding that they had to catch the attention of the House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House, for the voice of the people. What are your comments on that, and how do you feel about what went down, and what do you think led to that so much so, other than what the opposition leader says, disrespect from the Speaker?
Well, I tell you, the Free National Movement is exactly that, a movement. And when you look at the formation of the party from Cecil Wallace Whitfield time, fast forward all the way to today, the organization continued to be a movement for the Bahamian people, for those who believe to be disenfranchised. And so the opposition have an obligation by the Bahamian people to hold the government to account. So when you have the opposition leader not being able to speak for 2-3 sittings of parliament, we have a problem. Some would say Houston, we have a problem.
Or in this terms, Nassau, we have a problem.
In this term, Nassau, we have a problem. So I don't need to litigate the sequence of events because I think the Bahamian people know at this point much of what led up to it. But I saw their actions as one that was necessary to be able to get the type of attention from the vast majority of the Bahamian people to be able to put pressure on some form of fairness, first of all, in the House of Assembly. We know the saying that the government will have its way, but the opposition should have its say.
Yeah.
In this scenario, the opposition was not even being allowed to have its say.
Okay.
And so where you have the matters of national importance, you have a U.S. indictment that's now all over international media about the Bahamas, we have an obligation to speak to that. The Prime Minister spoke to it in the first sitting about 2 sittings ago, and the opposition deserved the right to be able to respond to the Prime Minister's statement and to respond to the international indictment as well. And so that's what we have been seeing, the opposition fighting to have a voice at the table, fighting for the Bahamian people no matter the cost.
I saw a text saying the Prime Minister is trying to become a dictator. I don't know if that's a strong, I think that's too strong a word. But is it deliberate that they don't want the voice of the opposition? Is the opposition going to say something that the Bahamian people don't need to hear as regards to what the PLP thinks or the government thinks?
Well, this is it. It appears as if they do not want the opposition to talk about the rampant corruption that the country is under. And it is so interesting, Earl, if I may say.
Pearly, my name on the show is Pearly. Leave my government name out, please.
Pearly, as you would have it. Let me tell you, it is interesting because every time the PLP is in government, we have some type of international scandal.
Okay.
We look at the Pinland era and the drug trafficking of that era. We look at the Perry Christie era. We see the debacle of Bahama. And the Peter Nygaard scandals. We look at now Brave era and now we're seeing, again, a continuous Bahama debacle. We see the Michael Johnson situation with the leaked voice notes and now this U.S. indictment. So it appears as if they have an attraction for international scandal attached to them. But above that, we have to be able, as a country, to put the type of laws and legislations in place to protect the reputation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I don't know about you, Earl, but I don't have another country to call home.
This is my home.
The Bahamas is all we got. And for tens of thousands of Bahamians, we don't want to travel internationally or even regionally for that fact. And we have persons asking us, oh, you from the Bahamas? And they're looking at us a certain way because of the corruption scandals that are international news. We are a country that's better than that. We have had international success. We've had record-breaking success in track and field, in education, in healthcare. We are known as the playground for the rich and the famous. We are paradise. In religion, we talk about the Bahamas being a place where God lives.
Okay.
We have a reputation to protect. And so we cannot allow any one or two individuals to cast an entire aspersion on the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We've got to weed them out, pluck them out, drag them out wherever they are. That's what the FNM, that's what the opposition have been calling for.
The Prime Minister said, and I know the opposition and many people have been calling for a commission of inquiry. Some people think, oh, nothing can come out of the commission of inquiry. And the Prime Minister says it is too expensive. What is your reason? And I'll say, I'm like, come on, man. We got $170 million we spend on consultants. We spend a ton of money for travel. And you're telling me to clean up the reputation of the Bahamas is too expensive?
Earl, the opposition, next Prime Minister Michael Pintada said it over and over. We ought to spare no resources in getting to the bottom of these corruption allegations in our country. This is a government that has spent, the Prime Minister, Office of the Prime Minister, has spent have run over $5 million over budget in travel. So the very idea or thought that a commission of inquiry is too expensive is an indictment within itself. We have to be serious about the priorities of this country, and serious about good governance in our country. When it comes to the commission of inquiry, the cost of it should be the last thing on our mind, because the reputation of our country transcends all of that. We know how we could find money for whatever it is. We spent, and the number is still outstanding, but we've spent in excess of $50 million on celebrations for our seeing inflation costs is licking us left, right, and center. We see the cost of rent in the country is astronomical, and the list goes on.
The former Prime Minister, Hubert Minnis, said that he got a phone call from, and I wasn't able to verify it, so I'm just going to say it as he said it on the news, that he was told by the U.S. that they have an indictment for a government official or high-ranking government official in the country, and he told them, do what you have to do your job. I'm paraphrasing to somewhat. Do your job, and that person is now Prime Minister. How do you feel about something like that? I mean, how does that make you feel as a Bahamian? I mean, it makes me like, oh my goodness, no man, not again. Because I remember as a student in Minnesota in the 80s when Brian Ross and NBC did the story on the Bahamas, and I think that might have been before, a little before you were around.
Yeah.
But I had to insult a student because he made some disparaging remarks about my then Prime Minister. And I'm like, hey, I may not support him, but that's my Prime Minister. And so to me to hear that they don't speak to our Prime Minister, they haven't given the names of the government official who is going to be indicted, and I mean, eventually will come out. How do we deal with that as a people? How do we deal as a country?
Well, again, Earl, if I fully understand your question, the point is we have to be standing by the laws of our country, the Constitution. We cannot continuously to allow persons to make a run amok of the name of the country and their responsibilities, no matter where you sit. I want to go back, Earl, if I may, to the opposition and the need for the government and the opposition to be able to work together for the common good of the country.
Yes.
And that's because I believe that the Bahamian people are so sick and tired of both entities, both the FNM, which I'm proud of to be a part of, and the Progressive Liberal Party, and any others.
Okay.
We are looking for, the Bahamian people are looking for unity at this point. I know we have had many stories, and you just mentioned one, and the list goes on. But we have got to come to common ground in this country where it's bigger than it's bigger than politics, or partisan politics rather, where it's truly about the Bahamian people, right? Being able to put laws and policies in place to better the Bahamian people's lives, right? We have a home and housing crisis in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. People want to be able to go to work, make a decent salary for themselves, put a little savings on the side, and enjoy their life in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have the ability to do that. We have investors from all around the world come and invest millions of dollars in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is paradise. Bahamians live in paradise, but it feels as if we are second-class citizens in this paradise we call home. We can do better as a nation. Politics have, various ways that it can cause divides among people. But we got to get back to that place where, we can say, hey, my name is Travis. I think the Bahamian people are not asking for much. They're asking for a responsible government, good governance, and for policies to reflect their priorities. High inflation, like we talk about. What is the government doing to bring down the cost of living for the average Bahamian? Rent is out of control. People are having to move back home with their moms, their dads, their family members, because they just can't afford to pay those rent by themselves. Single parents. When we talk about protection for women and girls in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, that's a real issue. When we look at how many women and girls have been murdered or domestic violence, as we look statistics the other day revealed that 1 out of every 4 women in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas are victims of domestic violence.
Wow.
What are we doing in this country? What policies? Where is our priority alignment?
Yeah, yeah.
The Bahamian people are not asking for much.
This
They're
one a good
asking
country.
for a good country, good governance. I believe the Free National Movement will offer that. I believe Michael Pintard will offer that.
Caller, you on the air.
Then how y'all doing?
I get. What's up?
I listened to your guest, and the oration and its timing and the cadence is excellent.
Okay.
But what it comes down to, I'm so happy that Michael Pintard decided to throw that Mason out, because when it was done in '65, what followed was policy change. Now, what I want to see now from the F&M, the opposition, is a clear, decisive policy to speak to corruption. I don't want the mission of carry. I want simple bulletin points. And if they don't have any, I'll give them some ideas.
Okay.
And I want to be practical as possible.
Uh-huh.
One, if any politician is found stealing from the people of the Bahamas, the penalty should reflect the population. Meaning, if you steal $1 from the Bahamian Treasury, you should get 1 year for every citizen. And let me tell you why I want to see policies like this put in place. Mm-hmm. Because it is of my belief that exactly what is happening at the bottom is happening to the top. And the wanton disregard for law, integrity, the lying, the vast, the malicious attitude that has been demonstrated by the everyday person, I believe that is what's being demonstrated at the top, and that is what's happening at the top. And to finish this off, I would like for, whenever you all get Michael Pintard, I would like him to speak to how is someone who had a socialist consciousness merge and marry that to a capitalistic scheme, because I see those two as oil and water.
Yeah.
And I remember he said it was us versus them, and I always thought them was capitalism, and I want to know how he's going to merge those consciousness, because they seem and have throughout history has been contradictory. And so that's what I would like Mr. Pintard to answer, and I want to see robust policies clearly stated and clearly outlined in bulletin point form, and no more oration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take this one call before we go to the break, Mr. Producer. Call you on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good
How
afternoon.
are you, sir?
I am most well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a first-time caller.
Super.
Even just to say Earl the Pearl is worth calling. I just love your name.
I got to be able to get out there. You don't spell my head, so.
And Mr. Robinson, you are another distinguished gentleman.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to say, as a quote-unquote average Bahamian, when you go to the food store, for example, and you see the price of eggs are $7, it shows you the reality check that we're dealing with on the ground.
Yeah.
And so when you hear these big scandals and just things that really don't have to exist, it just exasperates the situation even more, because we just want to go home, have a nice meal, talk to our neighbors, have a little entertainment sometimes. And so whenever there's a threat to security or tourism or anything like that, that's very stressful on us, because we're trying to make the dollars run as it is.
Yes.
So these things, yes, I agree. They definitely have to be dealt with.
It's always wonderful to have first-time callers, and please don't let this be your last time calling, okay?
No, sir. Have a great day.
You have a better one.
Thanks.
Mr. Producer, we're going to take our voice break. Brother Robinson, we can take our voice break. When we get back, we're going to talk a little more about what can we expect from the Free National Movement government, a Free National Movement government, and what we can expect from Travis Robinson if he's a part of that government. This is Pearly, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. It's a Talking Heads Thursday, a wet Talking Heads Thursday. We'll be right back.
They try to use me and abuse me. I leave them with the frown. The work goes by so long on them plantation, and me never get paid. Of old they stole away, how many life them slay. Now them works just slap them in them face. Why are yes? You are your crew can go to well.
Bring flavor home for the holidays with a KFC Festive Feast. Create timeless memories with a $20 KFC Festive Bucket, brimming with 8 pieces of your favorite fried chicken and 4 buttery biscuits, or decorate the dinner table with a mega Festive Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, 4 biscuits, a large corn and mashed potato duo with a side of gravy, and 4 of our new pumpkin dessert biscuits. Crunch the holidays however you want and let us do the dishes. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your master beauty products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama Market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
It's that time of year again, and Colombian Emeralds International wants to show our appreciation to you, our valuable customers, with our annual Customers Appreciation Day sale. 50% plus an additional 15% off on Friday, December the 13th and Saturday, December the 14th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at their Rawson Square and Port Lucaya Freeport locations. There'll be prizes and surprises every hour. So come and celebrate this holiday season with some sparkle and give the gift of a lifetime with Colombian
You're
Emeralds.
listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
Lord have mercy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, well. The bona fire banner we got Babylon and the free talk coulda never get me down. And though they tried to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. Me bona fire banner we got Babylon and the free talk coulda never get me down. And though they tried to use me and abuse me, I leave them with
Welcome back to Talking Heads Thursday with Pearlie in the house. Let's get right to this text voice before we get to the call, and then we're going to talk to you some more, Brother Robinson. Pearlie, let's look at it for what it is. The U.S. had an ongoing investigation which involved cocaine smuggling. We have a sitting prime minister who represented the biggest drug dealer in the region. You really think they want to talk to our prime minister?
Pearl, this is the point we're making right now. The fact is the government, in our view, the opposition view, continues to duck and dodge from the questions from the Bahamian people.
Yeah, they sit on second Wednesdays.
Well, this is it. Every second Wednesday is allotted in Parliament as question and answer time for the opposition to be able to put questions to the government as to national and international concerns such as the U.S. indictment and the likes. We have the opposition leader, next Prime Minister Michael Pintard, have said over and over repeatedly, the government attempts we call it the PAC or the PAC, Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, from being able to accurately and effectively do its job. They've been calling for permanent secretaries and government officials to be able to come before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to answer various questions of transparency for the Bahamian people, so we can get answers that perhaps the U.S. government is not comfortable giving to even as high as our Prime Minister.
Scary.
It's very scary, but this is why we have to have the transparency without obstruction. Because we've seen where next Prime Minister Pintard spoke about the Attorney General, an unelected official, obstructing and sending written letters to permanent secretaries and government officials not to appear before the Public Accounts Committee of the House. That's an indictment.
It is.
You have a responsibility as an opposition to be able to hold the government feet to the fire, no matter what government it is, be it the FNM or the PLP. But we have to get to a place in our country again, Earl, where we get above politics. Because the partisan politics is not working for the average Bahamian in this country.
Caller, you on the air.
Good afternoon, Purdy.
What's up, brother?
Man, I can say it like this, and you keep it tight, Purdy. I got to remind my colleague inside there that you are Pearly on air. but
Keep calling my government name all day.
But my wife is listening to two of her favorite voices, other than mine. You know.
I believe I'm number 2 though. You 1, 2, and we'll make Robinson 3, right?
I leave that for you all to argue over because she cool with my man too now, Pearly. I can tell you that.
Hi, sis. I can say hi, sis. All right.
But the point that I wanted to make was something that came out in just listening to y'all, like really listening to y'all as if I didn't know y'all.
Okay.
Where the former prime minister made a comment, and I think that was a shot over a lot of people's head. It went over quickly. We may have treated him like how we treat Rodney Monk when we say, oh, that's just Rodney saying it because it's Rodney, without looking at the validity of what's being said.
Okay.
And that point is, the former prime minister made a comment where he said that back in 2020, I believe it was 2020 now, he received information that individuals were being looked to and that supposedly one of those individuals has since become prime minister. I believe that is exactly what the comment was that the former prime minister made. And I want to encourage many to go back and listen to again what he said. And then he went on to further say, could it possibly be that the former government did not communicate with the current the U.S. administration did not communicate with the current prime minister because he too himself is possibly being investigated. And that leads me to now consider, is he one of the persons being investigated? And I think that is a question. I don't even care about who received the $20 million or the $2 million no more. I now want to know, is my sitting current prime minister being investigated for drug trafficking? And I don't think that is something he himself is going to tell us. Fish don't call themselves things. So I do believe something to the magnitude of a commission of inquiry ought to happen. I do believe that someone like a Mr. Pintard, who desires to be the next prime minister of our country, should tell us, hey, if in fact this is the case, I will tell you. I will be truthful and forthcoming with you all once and for all as a people to let us know who can fly to the U.S. unless there's prime minister or not. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Caller, you on the air.
Yes, how you doing? This is Travis Robinson, and you Pearly.
Hey, CA, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right. Just let me say, you can add to what that caller just said. Let's go to the former National Security Minister. If you add what he said to it, he says, I have no statements or something of that sort. Then he added in there, and I've never needed. I've always been shopping in the U.S.
Yeah, you can go to the U.S. I heard him say that. Yeah,
passport to go.
Yeah.
So it seems as though people are dropping hints along the way, which will make sense for a commission of inquiry. But here's the premise of that. It says that you cannot manage what you cannot measure, and you cannot measure what you refuse to acknowledge. And so the question is then, how do we seek to correct what was referred to, Commissioner, literally a culturally endemic criminality and corruption? Now, those are some powerful words, right? Because, I have since did some research and wrote a paper, and it says it refers to the systematic and widespread acceptance or normalization of criminal and corrupt practices within a particular culture, society, or institution. These behaviors become ingrained over time and can be perpetrated by societal norms, historical context, and institutional frameworks that either implicitly tolerate or fail to deter them. How do you find out these institutional frameworks? How do you identify these cultural norms and whatever else? By simply saying, we're going to fix them. I think it was Einstein that says, right, that trying to fix something, like having the same mindset that created the problem or tolerated the problem that allowed it to come about, is a form of insanity. You can't fix it with the same. Mindset.
Okay.
So that's why you need fresh eyes, people who are not involved, and where you have information that could be reviewed, peer reviewed, and other reviewed. So you could argue, oh, it's not going to have criminality, but a commission of inquiry is more about a fact-finding body that investigates issues of national importance, controversies, and other matters of public concern.
Yeah.
Distinguished individuals, experienced individuals. And so it's about identifying where we are and the changes that we need to be made, because culture is not developed. Travis, let me ask you a question. Who taught you your accent?
It wasn't taught.
Yeah, be born with that.
It's a natural process.
It's a natural process, yes.
So how do I now stop you from speaking with your accent?
Send him to the States for one day. As soon as he get on the plane, I finna go America.
But the accent will still be there.
Yes,
so what I'm saying to you, it takes a process to remove it. And so we have to be able to identify it, to put in place systems that is necessary to negate or at least mitigate the behavior that happens. And what happens is that there's laws and other processes that cause you to do things. So when punishment or something goes in there. And so it's an advancement of technology. It's an advancement of financial laws for improper gain and all. It's a lot of things we have to have a conversation about. And so what I'm simply saying is now we have leadership. Oh, by the way, the Governor General appoints the commission. So it ain't the Prime Minister. What you have to do, we have to wonder why the Governor General don't see enough right now to do it. Because we have a lot
to wait for the Prime Minister to say what to do. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. So what we have to do is, and I'm simply saying is this, I believe that we simply need, because, people say we have a leadership crisis. We don't. We have a crisis of leadership when the wrong people is in place, okay? Because we have leaders in this country. And I think it's the need for this change. And I think when you look at the drops, the rain always starts as small drops, but as the torrential comes down, it makes it a flood. And so what we are doing now is that we need a change in leadership. And I think the Progressive Labour Party knows, like they did in the 80s, that the change is here. The same change that happened in 92 that transformed the country into an open governance in the sunshine. And so we need a reinstitution of that. And as we're going past this 50th year, we also need 21st century mindset to grow this economy. And I'm going to say at the end of this, we must move to digitalization, datification, and digital transformation to grow this economy that is needed. So you could get the same 10% VAT from a greater economy as opposed to going to 12 or 15% of a same small VAT. And I say if the Progressive Labour Party had the competency and capability of doing it, they would have done it. My question to them is, why would we even consider giving you 5 more years to do what you have not even been able to tell us how to do it in the first 3? And so simply I say, Bahamians, please go register to vote, encourage people to do the same, because your opportunity for unstoppable change is closer than you think. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my brother. I can leave that one to you to comment on.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest points coming out of that, beyond the Commission of Inquiry and all of that, which is paramount, he spoke about the economy. And I think for the average Bahamian, for Bahamians all across the country, those and even business professionals, for more reasons than one. The PLP as of late has been bragging about the tourism numbers and their breaking records, etc. But I often remind people that when we talk about tourism in the country, we often refer to the pre-COVID banner year, which was 2019, under the last F&M administration, when we broke record for the first time at 7.2 million visitors. And so when we look at research today, the United Nations World Tourism Organization is showing that from January to September of this year, the world has had some 790 million tourists that have traveled. And so when we compare that to 2019 numbers, that's about roughly 96%, which means that now the numbers are 4% down from 2019 levels. So at this point, we are approaching an equilibrium in the world of tourism and travel. And when you look at the United Nations panel of tourism experts, they point to a number of challenges as we go to now the equilibrium, because pent-up demand is now subsided, where you had COVID and people could not travel. One of the major challenges facing this new leveling out of tourism today, you would find is inflation.
Yep.
Specifically the high cost of travel and travel as it relates to ticket prices and accommodations. So I say that to say we are right in the neck of this, right, in terms of the economy. Just the other day, yesterday, I believe it was Atlantis that spoke about their roughly 83%. They're down, and they expect that next year will be the same.
Okay.
So in the context, we have got to be able to put the necessary initiatives, programs in place, and diversify the industry. I believe we can do that within the context of the tourism industry.
I think we're seeing a rise in tourism and through the cruise ship passengers, not the overnight passengers or the stopover passengers.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I think, while we're getting a lot more tourists, we're not getting that kind of money spent in the country where we could be able to take care of problems.
But this is it. And so when you ask the average straw vendor and professionals within the tourism industry who are on the ground putting money in people's pocket, the numbers are rising, but it's not rising inside people's pockets.
Yeah, we're not feeling it.
And so that's a major concern. When we look at Grand Bahama, we've heard many promises from this government that they were going to sell the Grand Lucayan Hotel. 3 false alarms, and today the hotel is still not sold.
And I had Darren Cooper and Sarah Kirk be on with me on Tuesday, and they were saying pretty much the same thing. They need that airport done. They need that hotel sold.
But this is it. And so not just Grand Bahama, but throughout the Family Islands, etc. Just today, we've seen now Flamingo Airlines is now send notice that they're increasing their fees.
Yeah.
Right? A one-way trip from Grand Bahama to Bimini was $104. Now today, as of the 16th, as of Monday, it's going to be $130.
Wow.
Right?
That's a big jump.
And so a round trip, also the round trip is going up. So now I think the round trip is going from $210 to now $260.
Wow.
So that's $50, et cetera,
That's a lot of
extra.
money.
So the point is, there are a lot of increase in taxes and fees that we are experiencing. Gas station route from the food stores, and list goes on. And the Bahamian people are just wondering, when are we going to get an economic relief?
Amen. Call you on there.
Really?
Hey.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to
It's
you.
GNN.
Let me ask you a question. Excuse me, Pearly, what did you say this now, sir?
There's 52, right? I mixed y'all two up.
No, there's 52.
The GNN.
No, this time I'm not GNN.
Okay.
I am Chonkanu Chief Steak and Goat Skin. My name's James.
I got you. Say it again, Chonkanu what?
On a more serious note.
Yes, sir,
Do y'all
please
have
go.
any mirrors in your studio
We can
that
find.
you can look in?
Why do you ask?
Because when the PLP is in opposition, it's deja vu with the FNM. When the FNM is in opposition, it's deja vu.
Okay.
So it got to be, you got to have long tails and big ass in that studio and everybody else based on what your guest is running on with, again in opposition.
Okay.
And if it was the PLP, it would be the same thing. Has he said anything new that he's going to bring to the table if he is successful at winning the government again? No. Fooled me 10 years, I's the fool. Fooled me for 20 years, you's the fool. Fooled me for more than 51 years. Then we all must be donkeys and fools. So you all need to go look in the mirror in that studio and see what you all look like. Because they got to think the Bahamian people, after 51 years, are donkeys, man.
And what do you think? So what are you saying should happen? What are you saying should happen?
Huh?
What are you saying should happen?
you need to close the show down and talk about John Kuno or something else, man, because they ain't coming and saying nothing. All to us is, wait, we want to hurry up, get them PLP out so we can get back in to do the same sleight of hand to the Bahamian people.
But I can't let you say that because we don't know that can happen. You know, you could think that, you could feel that, but we don't know that can happen. It ain't the same people running the show. It's a different man running the show. Call you on the air.
Yes, sir, and good afternoon to you and your guest.
How are you, sir?
Really well. I called some time ago and I asked whether the chairman of the PLP would come on the show, but I was told that he wouldn't come on that particular show.
Well,
I know you have a guest, and I'm thinking sometimes that we need to have a national debate. And even with the national debate, that's not necessarily a solution because, you know, America had all kind of debates. And they say Biden's vice president was winning in the debate, and then Trump still won the election.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nevertheless, we need to have a national government of unity. We don't need to, as it were, have this rivalry, this excessive rivalry, cursing one or the other, vice versa. When the coin flips.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's concerns about inflation and all that, and that is a very serious matter. But we really need a situation where we can actually agree to disagree and also show points where we agree that each side has merit, each side has good. And I'm just hoping that we can get to be truly patriotic and national and less partisan.
Fair enough.
And we can go be 5-year periods. Let me tell you one of these cases. When there is one party in power, and there is national events like Independence Celebration, you don't see you rarely see members of the opposite party at Fort Charlotte.
Now, I can't let you say that because I know for a fact that any national event, I see both Pintard and Cartwright at those events.
No. Of course,
Okay.
the leaders will be there.
Okay.
Of course, the leaders will be there. But we had 30-something. I'm not speaking. This not personal one against the other. When there's a landslide, all the 30-something person that lost, everybody gone on the ground, and it goes both sides.
Okay.
Going back to driving the little on the Civics or the little small car. And gone on the ground.
Okay.
So we need to be persons. We all need to put our shoulders to the wheel. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
At all times.
All right. Thank you so much.
Earl, if you may.
I got you. We have no time anyway, but I'll let you go.
No.
Before the first hour's up.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can stay a few more minutes after 5:00. Can you?
Sure.
All right.
No problem. But I just wanted the caller before this one. I want to thank him for calling in and expressing his views and opinion, because I believe that most Bahamians, well, not most, but a lot of Bahamians have that belief that, nothing will change, it will remain the same. But I want to encourage him and others who have the same sentiments like him to stand by. I believe the opposition, Pintard, spoke to a number of changes that he will make from the banking sector. He rolled out in the papers for the Family Islands. He spoke about the housing development that he will bring. And in the new year, they will see the full rollout of the manifesto plan of the Free National Movement, at which time I believe when we lay out the policies going forward under Pintard administration.
Fair enough. We're going to take our break. We're going to take the news. When you come back, Brother Robinson will give me 10 extra minutes after 10 because I do have my flag football people waiting, so they'll come on right after you. But I want to say this. I am extending again an invitation to anybody who wants to come talk to me. Anybody from the PLP, from the Prime Minister, go all the way down. I don't want anybody to think because I wear a different hat outside this place that I will ever blindside them, that I'll ever rough them up. I will always be as fair to anybody who comes on the show because I want you to get your message across to me. So send the clarion call out, Prime Minister Davis. You're welcome to come with Pearlie. Chairman Mitchell, you're more than welcome to come with Pearlie, and anybody from the Progressive Liberal Party, the Free National Movement, and the COI can come talk to Pearlie. We're going to be back right after the news. This is Pearly. It's a Talking Heads Thursday. I got Travis Robinson with me. He's going to give me a few minutes after the 5 o'clock hour, and we're going to get to all the texts right after that. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right.
I know they try to use me and abuse me. I leave them with the friends.
Bring flavor home for the holidays with a KFC Festive Feast. Create timeless memories with a $20 KFC Festive Bucket, brimming with 8 pieces of your favorite fried chicken and 4 buttery biscuits, or decorate the dinner table with a mega Festive Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, 4 biscuits, a large corn and mashed potato duo with a side of gravy. Crunch the holidays however you want and let us do the dishes. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Feeling lucky? Here's Cuban Willie's numerology report. Brought to you by the Island Game.
And today is Thursday. I got the football for you. Cuatro pelotas. 6582. 6582. Says football for today. Win with the Island Game. Stay winning, my friend. Kulikitaka.
Play with Island Games. We making dreams come true. Play with Island Games. We paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market. You getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first. Guaranteed to pay. Island Games. We like them other jokers. We've been here from the start. From the bike to computer. Island Games. We can make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Lord of mercy. Whoa.
We're back. This is a Talking Heads Thursday, a wet Talking Heads Thursday. That's your boy Pearly in the house. Let me read these texts, then we'll take these 2 calls, okay? Pearly, how will Travis get rid of VAT when he gets into power? Or will he recommend to continue with VAT? Also, what does Travis think about the Bahamian pilots who will not be licensed in the Bahamas to fly if they don't take the pilot's exam in the U.S.? Is stating that the Bahamian pilots must take, according to Chester Cooper, the Minister of Civil Aviation. I can let you answer that in a second. Let me just read this one more text. Pearly, are you all saying Prime Minister can't go to the States without a diplomatic passport? And you need to ask the Prime Minister that question. I can't answer that. I don't even know, but we can find out. Well, you know, he did go when he was leader of the opposition, when he had COVID in that big tube, when he went to Baltimore or some of the states to be checked out. LOL. Travis was in there for 4 years and nothing changed. SMT again. You all seem to be F&M propaganda machines. You know what? I can leave that one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, Pearl, this is what it is, and this is the beauty of the Bahamas. That's why I love my country so much. We have freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, so everybody have their own personal opinion, and we respect their opinion. But it's important for myself and others inside this field to keep fighting and doing the best we can do every day to make the Bahamian people lives better. But to the Texas point about aviation, you know, I am. As a commercial pilot myself now, professionally, I am just appalled by the latest developments. I was reading an article sometime about a week or 2 ago where the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, which is basically the largest association of pilots and aircraft owners in the entire world, wrote to the government of the Bahamas concerning the various increase in fees for private aviation going into various islands. And to hear that our country has not even so as to respond to their letter of concern, just to even say that, hey, we acknowledge you, it's under review, that's not the spirit that we stand on. That's not encouraging for the economy of the Bahamas. And we know in aviation that private and general aviation is the lifeblood of aviation throughout the Family Islands. Although we have the commercial airlines, the Bahamas Air and the Western Air, that service some of the Family Islands, the majority or all of the Family Islands are really undergirded and supported by general and private aviation. Most of the monies that are made, particularly in the local economy sometimes on these Family Islands, comes from small and private aviation persons who fly into these islands. So we ought not to look at it in a vacuum of we need more money, so let's look at areas we could just randomly increase fees. And that's what's happening. It's absolutely wrong. I think that both entities, the aviation department and the minister responsible, should sit with the aircraft owners and pilot associations, who, by the way, have now issued a travel advisory to some 300,000 plus pilots, a part of that association, warning them not to come to the Bahamas because of the astronomical fees that has been implemented throughout the Family Islands. And so I could only imagine how to the local economy of the Family Islands and the aviation sector at large. The minister have to get to the table with those entities and come to a resolution that cannot be the status quo.
It's a must. Call you on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Perth?
I can let you know soon, Muff. What's happening?
Yeah, and what's going on, Travis?
All good,
man. I want to combine three things with the last three callers say before the break.
Okay.
And Travis touched on it earlier when he came on the show. He said the Bahamian people fed up with the F&M and the PLP, to be honest. But so I am touched on what the GNN said, right? And there's some evidence to that. Because, you know, they've been putting the two of them out every 5 years. It ain't like the PLP is doing 2 terms and the F&M do 1, or the F&M is doing 2 terms and the PLP do 1. So and then I agree to everything what Critical Thinker said, right? Everything what he said. But what I want to ask Travis, right, is like what critical philosophy or ideology, is that the party's philosophy? Is that Pintard philosophy? And because, you know, we have seen in the past, once you became leaders and all the young, brilliant minds, you know, even like John Boswick, you see he isn't getting used no more, like Brandon McCartney. We see what has happened. And then Pearly, you keep on saying, well, you don't know, you can't say that about this leader. But just remember, the government changed 5 times, you know.
Yes.
So the Bahamian people really fed up like that. It ain't like once or twice. You know, like how you all do say, people looking for good governance and a good country. So you know, they so anxious to get this, and 5 times the government then changed. So, you know, you keep on saying, like, they just one more time. You know, that's like 25 years. And I am 55, so I will live to see a 2-term government, you know. So what you think, Jarvis? You're going forward now. Because, I mean, they spend $2 million, go Jamaicans, spend $2 million to find out why they lost the election and all that. They can give me a $500, and I can tell you why. Yeah, right? But, yeah, going forward now. Like, I feel good, like what Critical Thinker say, newly, because Pintard only is about 60, right? Couple of years younger than you, little older than me, right?
Yeah.
We need that new type leadership. Like Brave Davis, the move 75 and thing, they come from under the Lyndon type, politics type, leader type, that type of Christie, way back then. No, man, we want, the people be tired of all of that, man. We want, like Critical Thinker say, a 60-year-old, a different generation type thinking, mind and everything, and they're willing to use the young other generation, their age around them, and not like how they do John Boswick and Brandon McCartney, because that ego is getting when they become leader. I can hang up and I can listen.
Okay, thanks, Muff.
You know, like I often tell people, I am a subscriber and a supporter of the Free National Movement because of the philosophy of the organization. And that philosophy is about teaching a man how to fish rather than giving him the fish and just feeding him for the day. We believe in empowerment. That's why the FNM has instituted the Small Business Development Center under our watch, because we believe that Bahamians are brilliant individuals. They have a part and a stake in this economy and in this country. And if you're willing to work hard enough, if you're willing to put your mind to it and come up with your plans, this is a government, the FNM is an organization, people to be their own boss, to be your own to open your own business, to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Not handouts. Bahamians are not interested in handouts. We are a prideful set of people who believe that we can take care of ourselves.
Amen.
And so that's the philosophy that I subscribe to. Don't give me the fish. Teach me how to fish.
Let me season it down and fry it dry.
But specifically to the leader, I believe that Michael Pintard has the vision. So I subscribe with the leader because of the vision they have for moving the country forward. Again, we mentioned earlier about the new housing project that will come about. Not this thing that the PLP threw together in Pinecrest, and in terms of you build 6 houses, you give 4 to PLP, you give 1 to your godchild, and the next one still ain't done. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about revolution. Next Prime Minister Michael Pintard have been talking about the neglect in the family islands, making sure that family islanders do not feel like second-class citizens in this country. And that comes from infrastructural development. We talk about the airport. This government has talked ad nauseum about Renaissance Airport Redevelopment Renaissance Program. We have not seen any steady, real, effective progress in that manner. And so we are to a point, Pearl, in this country, as we have often been saying, where the partisanship of politics have to come to an end. I believe holistically that this new FNM administration under Michael Clifton Pintard, when he becomes the next Prime Minister of this country, will turn our country in a direction that Bahamians will be most proud of. I can tell you, I sit today as the National Deputy Chairman of the Free National Movement, and as a young man, when I hear and I see firsthand the task-oriented leader that Michael Pintard is, when he talks about policies that benefit the Bahamian people. And people often forget, in 2021, when we had a wipeout of most FNM candidates, including myself, Michael Pintard not only won his seat again, but he won it by a larger majority than he did so in 2017. That's because he reached across the political divide.
Yes.
FNMs and PLPs alike supported a Michael Clifton Pintard. And the PLP supported him in greater numbers. That's because it speaks to the character of the man. It's not about what color you wear. We've seen his actions on the ground in Grand Bahama after Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah.
People talk about it at length.
Yeah.
This is the man we're talking about putting in the chair, who have been able to reach across the aisle, forgetting color of shirts, and realizing that you're a Bahamian, and we're putting Bahamians first in everything that we're doing. And so with that, Pearl, I believe when the rubber meets the road, the Bahamian people, as the next Prime Minister Michael Pintard rolls out his new his cadre of candidates in the new year, they will see in their candidates for their respective constituencies someone who they can believe in, will take their concerns to Parliament. They will see a team that is ready for government and governance with the type of expertise branching from the young, the middle, and the older generation, a cross-section of brilliant minds in our country, that they will be comfortable and confident in that administration under Michael Pintard will be the administration.
Let's get to these last two callers. I know they've been waiting forever, and I know I tell them they only have a short time to talk, but...
Yes, good afternoon, Bertie, and good afternoon, Mr. Robinson.
Hey.
Mr. Robinson, I don't know if you remember one time you was on before, and I had asked you a question pertaining to your experience in government versus your expectation.
Yes.
Right? And like what I'm going to say is based on some of the things that other people were saying too, and I hope you listen carefully to what I'm saying, Mr. Robinson. I hope you understand what I'm saying to you too. All right, because but we put we elect MPs to go there and make laws and stuff for us, right? But we spend more time talking about the drama between these two parties than the laws that they pass for us, right? And when you look at it over the 5 decades or whatever that they've been there, you can't even count, like you can't even one hand. You don't even need one hand to count. You don't need all the fingers on one hand to count any laws that they have passed to our benefit over that time period. You understand? And see, the whole thing with the party involved with Mr. Pintard, et cetera, that went on because of he felt as if he was not allowed his time to speak inside the House, right? So they created the protest type thing, right? But just because he felt as if he didn't have his time to speak. Now, I would have respected it more if Mr. Pintard and the FNM had done that, because as the head of the PAC, he was denied certain materials or information to carry out his job properly. I would have respected as certain MPs had failed to declare their financials and the law was not allowed to seek its course. You know what I mean? But I would have respected it more like that. You see, because the thing about it is that you said that the people want good governance, Mr. Robinson, right? Yes. And see, I want you to think about this when you're riding around looking at the people, because see, we want leaders, Mr. Robinson, who, when we elect them, they work tirelessly, day and night, to create laws and legislation to solve the problems that we live in this country, right? We don't deserve part-time workers, Mr. Robinson, right? Who, like, for example, right now, when they go on this break for Christmas, right? Over this Christmas break, they're going to be dealing with their own personal business. They're not going to be doing any research and the thing I'm talking about, the tireless working to try and create laws and legislation to better us, right? But when they return to the House, though, they're going to return with laws and legislation to pass on our behalf that they had no real input in creating. You understand, Mr. Robinson? We don't need leaders who just jockey for the position to drive the bus that is taking us on the internet. We want real revolutionary leaders who are about self-determination in this country to put in place laws to benefit the people who are suffering inside this country. You understand where I'm coming from, Mr. Robinson? Because you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because a former colleague of yours have stated before on another talk show that it's all a game. All right? Now the big game is to keep we the people, right, arguing over the things that you all argue about, to keep us in division while you all in there on a common ground, which no matter which one of you all get in the power, the destination and the laws that you all pass, it don't matter, because it's the very same thing. You all taking us on an international destination because you all don't sit down and write them laws you all pass. And we want people who sit down and do some real work. You understand where I come from, Mr. Robinson?
I'm following, yes.
Thank you very much. One last thing, one last question.
Go ahead.
I always wondered, when you all are elected, do they put you all in some type of class to teach you all how to deal with media? Because when these common people go in the House, all of a sudden when they are interviewed, like they all have this common way of speaking. You know, the kind of way where is this serious verbal gymnastics where they are careful to not give like definite statements, but to always say a lot, but don't really say nothing. You understand? So do they put you all in some type of like MP class, finishing school type thing, so that you all know exactly how to deal with the media?
There's I'll let you go and I'll answer the question. They do have orientation that is done by the House of Assembly on how to deal with the House, how to deal with the media, and how to talk. But those ones, they develop their own style, and they come up with the way they want to talk. Last caller, how you doing? That's it. Yeah. You have the last say?
Yeah, no, Earl. I just want to say to the caller, man, listen, thank you so much for your call and for your input. I believe that other Bahamians out there subscribe to the way you feel as well. and keep asking the tough questions. That's how we're going to hold our feet to the fire and make sure we're better. But I wanted to say on the point of the opposition not being able to speak, it is important for us not to just view it in the context of one man not being able to speak. Because when we rise in the House of Assembly, we say, Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the people of Marco City. So it wasn't Michael Pintard or any member of the opposition not being allowed to speak. That was a stifling of the voices of tens of thousands of Bahamians who voted for those individuals to represent them. So we have to ensure that democracy and fairness is the order of the day in Parliament, not for the individuals who sit in there, but for the tens of thousands of people, Bahamians collectively, who vote for them to sit in that honorable House of Assembly from both sides of the political divide. We are a country of laws and we respect that. But what we also are a country of is a country where the Constitution allows freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and a plethora of other freedoms that are protected under the law.
Amen. I say amen. Brother, so much for coming on. I want you to make a promise to me. When and or if you get ratified as the candidate, I'd be your first person you come on.
I give you that commitment.
Thank you so much.
Publicly. To your listening audience, thank you so much for listening under the sound of my voice. I hope that we continue to move together in peace and love and our unity in this country. We are better off together, and we are still stronger than our past.
Thank you very much. This has been a Talking Heads Thursday. It's a wet Talking Heads Thursday on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. When we get back, we get the Bahamas Youth Flag Football Crew going to come and tell us about the championships are coming up. We're still going to get into our picks, and we can talk a little bit sports before the day is out. Thank you so much. We'll be right back after these quick messages.
I leave them with your friends. Whoa.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
This KFC drip just won't quit. Step your flavor game up with the new KFC Saucy Nuggets. 100% real premium white meat nuggets, sauced in your choice of one of 5 KFC sauces: Korean barbecue, mango habanero, guava barbecue, stinging honey garlic, or signature barbecue. Do whatever the crunch you want with any of our new KFC Saucy Nuggets. 100% real, 100% a deal. Only available for a limited time at your favorite KFC. KFC Saucy Nuggets drip. It's finger-licking good.
Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. Is your place. Is your place.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl, on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
And welcome back to our Talking Heads Thursday. Time for sports. I apologize for bringing sports late, but some hot things happening in the real soon. But I got to get right into the day in sports history before we get into my flag football crew. Today is Thursday, December 12th, in the year of our Lord 2024. Why is this thing popping up on my phone? Okay. In 1899, George Grant presented the wooden Gulf tea. Oh, okay. In 1968, Arthur Ashe became the first black man to be ranked number 1 in tennis. In 1971, Bobby Hull of the Chicago Blackhawks scored his 1,000th point. In 1976, Joe Namath, Willie Joe, Broadway Joe, played his last game with the New York Jets. In 1981, Wayne Gretzky became the quickest to reach 50 goals in a season. It was in the 39th game. In 1988, Sandra Miller sued Mike Tyson for sexual harassment. In 1998, Mark Riker of the Montreal Canadiens ended his consecutive game streak he had played in 569 straight games. In 2000, the Texas Rangers signed Alex Rodriguez to a record-breaking $252 million contract. The contract amount broke all Major League Baseball records and all professional sports. Well, one sort of tore that one up last week, $760 million. In 2001, Gerard Latner, Dallas Stars, scored his 100th NHL goal in a game against the Buffalo Sabres. In 2001 again, the Denver Nuggets coach Don Eisel was suspended for 4 games by his team for shouting a profanity and an ethnic remark at a fan. 2001 again, former Dallas Cowboy Nate Newton and 2 others were arrested and charged for carrying at least 175 pounds of marijuana. It was the second arrest in 6 weeks. That's a lot. In 2010, the collapse of the inflatable roof at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome Mall of America Stadium caused the cancellation of a game between the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. The team played the next at Detroit Ford Field. That's now the Mall of America's, the largest mall in the world. That is an awesome mall. I've been in that several times. Sports quote of the day. I think they drafted in alphabetical order. Brett Ziegler, the last pick of the NFL draft. I love that. I love that. Oh boy. Ladies, what's happening?
Not much.
Y'all, I got Coach Nan and I got Muffy. My 2 favorite flag football people are here. How y'all doing? Just before I ask you that, national record for tail in sports, the home field, Derby and full gear celebrity game set for this evening. I saw them setting everything up in Montague, the Don't Blink Home Run Derby. That's going to be a great time. And VJ bounces back from hamstring injury. Every highlight I see of VJ Armstrong is slammed. That brother can play. How y'all doing? How's flag football going? This championship elimination week coming up? Tell me more about it.
Very exciting weekend ahead for us.
You know? Oh, wow. Yes. Okay.
With all regular seasons, all of our teams advance to playoffs.
Okay.
And so our championship day actually begins with playoff rounds. And as the teams win, they advance to championship.
Single elimination?
Single elimination.
Okay. And so that's everybody playing. So the one play the last.
So technically with so our 6 to 9 age division has 4 teams. So therefore they are a single elimination for sure. One is playing 4, 2 is playing 3. Now, with our 10 to 13 and 14 to 17, we have 6 teams in those age divisions.
Okay.
So the first game they play, the winner of that will then move on to play another game, and then the winner of that will then move to the championship. So there's technically 2 elimination games in that aspect.
Okay.
Before we get to that for those 2 age groups.
Okay. Coach Ned, how many teams you got in? All your teams in? You coach in every age group?
Yes, I coach every age group.
So now let me ask this question. Did you independent? Did you finish first?
No, I actually finished at the bottom with my 6 to 9 team.
But that was the new kids learning the game, so we accept that.
So yes, I accept that I am in a growing stage.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm good with that. My 10 to 13 and 14 to 17 teams aren't doing bad either. Okay. But they're not at the bottom, for sure.
They're in third. For her 10 to 13, they're in third. And in the 14 to 17, they're in 4th.
Okay.
Out of 6 for that age group.
I ain't gonna ask her because
the favorite? I'm also probably biased.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Where's Jason?
I know, right? Well, no, he would be biased. Well, actually, he probably wouldn't, but he does have a daughter that plays, so.
Okay.
But he probably wouldn't be biased. So, in 6 to 9, I would say Coach Sheldean's team is the favorite. Yes. And that's more, I guess, because she did a very good team selection when she
Okay.
made her selections.
Okay.
Um,
She drafted well.
She drafted well. So she drafted a couple more seasoned players than the other teams would have, right? So she is definitely right now, she would be the pennant winner because she's won every single one of her games. She
Okay.
is number one.
Okay. In which age group is that?
That's the 6 to 9
Okay,
age group.
okay.
That's the hardest age group because, as you know, they are between the ages of 6 and 9. Majority of our kids this year, though, are on the lower age.
End of the- yeah.
Yeah, so it's
All right.
all newer kids
Yeah.
and young. So the attention span is
A little different.
a little different.
Okay.
But when it comes, and then 10 to 13, technically that also is a little bit of a newer group as well because
Okay.
majority of our kids have kind of shifted. So our older kids that were in our 6 to 9 last year are now in our 10 to 13, but they're still young. They're still kind of newish. So, and then everybody else in that age group are all new student or new kids to flag football. So that age group division also is what, like Anae said, a building group, right? Our 14 to 17 is going to be the most exciting probably, other than 6 to 9, because 6 to 9 is just funny in general and fun to watch in general. But the 14 to 17 age group have pretty much all of them are seasoned players in that aspect because they have the 10 to 13s that have moved up that are still quite good, and they both that age group has both of our traveling teams on them.
Okay.
Right? So they have a lot more experienced
Okay.
players in that age division.
Okay.
So
Has there been any diamonds in the rough that come on any particular kids? I know I've met a lot of the kids who've been playing. Any new kids that show that there can be a lot of potential and could be a force to reckon with in the league going forward this year, and I mean particularly going forward next season?
I know for sure there's one boy that we all were kind of impressed with that came from, I think, CV Bethel.
CV Bethel?
He came with so we actually have a CV Bethel
You know when
team.
you whispered, the whole world heard you whisper,
know,
right?
I
Okay, that's fine.
realized
Just making
that.
sure we know that.
The reason is because the last time I think I did a media thing, I said the wrong school, and I wasn't
Okay.
trying to,
Okay.
whatever.
Well, there was a
But-
young man from a school.
But yes,
Okay.
Seth. He was very impressive and still is very impressive. So that he continues with us.
How old is he? And he's what?
He's in that 14 to 17 age group. I think he's 15 or 16.
Okay.
So I hope he continues. And then we have had a couple of kids that we've been impressed with. Obviously, if we've seen the talent, then we've invited them out to our traveling team tryouts.
Okay.
So they hopefully would get drafted to that traveling team and then continue throughout our seasons.
Speaking of traveling team, you got a trip coming up right after Christmas, is it? In January?
Yes, so in January, that is our World Flag Football Championships that happens every year.
In Texas?
Well,
It's
last
in
year,
Orlando this year.
last year they had it in Texas for the very first time.
Okay.
It's normally always in Tampa.
Okay.
And this year they're back to Tampa, thank God. So
Yeah.
we're going back to Tampa.
Okay.
And this year, we'll be taking 2 young teams. So we have an 8U team that we'll be taking and a 10U team that we'll be
Okay.
taking along with our 2 big teams.
Okay.
But I have one of my coaches saying to give the standings.
Please give the
So
standings.
let me give these standings out.
I believe this coach probably got in first place. That's why they won't give the standings, but that's fine. Give the standings.
Yes, you probably are right. So in 6 to 9, we have Team Chaldine with 6 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties. Team Dawkins with 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. Team Akeem, 2 wins, 4 losses, 0 ties. And Team Anae with 0 wins, 5 losses, 1 tie.
You know what? That's the kind of teams that can surprise everybody in the playoffs and go win. And some people are going to be pissed right off.
Yes, probably. You
Go
you
ahead.
might be right. And so with our 10 to 13,
Uh-huh.
Team Shavar has 5 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties.
Okay.
Team Monroe has 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. Team Kevin, which is Kevin and Anae,
Yeah.
2 wins. Team Moss, 2 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. Team Dawkins, 1 win, 3 losses, 1 tie. And Team Akeem, 1 win, 4 losses, 0 ties.
Okay.
And then for the 14 to 17, Team Shavar with 4 wins, 0 losses, 1 tie. Team Monroe, 4 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties. Team Dawkins with 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. Team Kevin and Anae are 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. Team Moss, 1 win, 4 losses, 0 ties. And Akeem, 0 wins, 5 losses, 0 ties. I bet you can tell which coach that was that sent me a message.
I went with the undefeated season. I figured that much.
Yes.
They've been on my show? They've been on the show with us?
I think he's been on. Yes, he was on before.
And
Yes.
he made some
He's been on
promises.
once.
If he's been on,
Yeah, I
I
think he's
wasn't
been on
here.
once, yeah.
Yes, I remember.
He and
yeah.
I were on together.
Yes, I remember.
Because he likes to not come when I come.
Well, Coach, good luck. You know, I'm a big Dodger fan, and not this year, we're the world champions this year. Last year, we've been with the best record and get beat in the playoffs. That can happen. So just have your team ready.
Yeah.
Don't be cocky about the undefeated season because the record out the window now.
Right.
So on Saturday, you will have finalized, you'll have your champions, or you have another week before the
No.
champions.
So that same afternoon, so basically 3 championship game, then 3:30, and then 4 o'clock.
So you have all early from, what time you start
We're
on Saturday?
starting at 10 a.m.
Okay, uh-huh.
We're going to have a food vendor. We'll have a DJ. We're going to have all of these, obviously, all of our games, which is a lot of entertainment all on its own. And we're out there from 10. And obviously, the last game starts at 4 p.m. So
Okay.
most likely we're out there until about 4:35.
Before it's dark.
Yes, right before it
Let
gets
me ask this one. Have you ever thought about changing, that's not calling after the coaches and coming up with a name like Dolphins or
Yeah.
Barracudas or Snappers?
So,
or
yes.
Grunts,
So some of our coaches have
not
asked that.
Steelers. I mean, go ahead.
We definitely aren't going to use NFL names
Okay.
if we do it. But yes, we have.
Okay.
One of, I think, the biggest issues that we had not really wanted to do like team names for was then them wanting us to do, basically
different logos.
different logos
Oh, yes,
or
yes.
get it, and then
Colors,
having to do all the
jerseys.
uniforms and
Yes,
stuff
yes.
because that becomes so time consuming. And then,
Yes.
we do everything in such a short, I wouldn't say a short period of time, but because we do the training first and then we do
Yes.
go straight into teams, you can't get the uniforms without knowing the teams, and then you need to know all the kids' sizes, and then the production doesn't happen fast enough.
Okay.
So when we used to do that in the past, it just took too long.
Okay.
And so we basically X'd that to the point and just keep everybody generic. Just this week, the coaches came to me again with, can we name our teams? And I said, you know what? Let's do this. Going forward, we will allow you to name your team. You'll have your team for each age division, but don't expect that to be on your shirts and no different colors and
Okay.
stuff. But at least they'll have team names so that we're not constantly doing this team and A and T. Because technically the Team Snap app we use, and this is where it came from, I see it differently than they see it because I'm in the back office of it.
Okay.
But for the coaches that get to see it on their phone, unfortunately they see Team Shavar, and it doesn't tell them which age division
Okay.
division they have.
I gotcha. Okay.
Because normally you wouldn't have more than one team
Yeah.
in whatever. So we have to fix it that way, but I think it'll make it a little bit more fun for the coaches too. So that'll be our next year thing. So next year you'll see us coming here with like Barracuda and Grunt and stuff.
Okay. So let's get Saturday at 10
Saturday at 10
at the Sports Center,
at the Sports Center.
the home of flag football.
Yes, home of the flag
And
football.
by the end of the day, we'll know the champ. So you'll be back next Thursday because I think we're going to be finished. Let me say we're going to be finished for the year. But I'll see you next Thursday to give me the champions who are, and I want you to bring at least
one kid from each of the teams.
Yeah, or at least a couple of champions.
All right.
So we can talk to
Someone
them.
will be here next week.
Sound like Muffy ain't gonna be here next week.
I can't promise.
Nah,
that I'll
as
be
much as
here.
I love Coach Nan, right, and want her, if she don't win, gotta stay home, right?
I am the PR.
Oh, okay, so you have to be anyway. So yeah, but I mean, I didn't want to come here because I can go after the people who lose, and because I love you so dearly, I don't want to go after you. That's why.
No, that's fine.
Okay, then
We'll hopefully get some really exciting people on this show
Yeah.
next week, meaning we might, if there are some like really big uproars in
Yes.
the games,
Yeah.
I might have to bring some of the, the ones that lost and won.
That's fine. Whoever
You
you
know?
bring, but I would like
We'll-
to,
we'll
wrap
make
up
it
the season
exciting.
next week. Talk about what happened with, some of the things that you did and how that
Yep.
sound.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So we do hope that we can get some spectators. It is really fun.
Okay.
There will be a small charge at the gate, but that's really and truly a fundraiser.
Yeah, you gotta
aspect
help
to
the
what
kids
we
out,
do.
people, and
Yeah, so it'll be very minimal, but there will be a small charge at the gate in order to come in.
Okay, so make sure check them out, people. They've done a really good job. They got a lot of kids. It's growing every year. flag, and you got to know, in the 2028 Olympics, flag football is going to be one of the medal sports. So we could possibly see some of our kids in the Olympics.
We hope so.
So let's encourage them people and come out and see them on Saturday, okay?
Yes, please.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. My salted
Thank
pepper.
you
Thank
for
you so
having
much
us.
for coming out. So happy to see y'all. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get into the picks, and then we get a wonderful final with Colin Coward. So be right back. Thank you, ladies. Take care, and see you next week, Thursday.
Thank you.
Play with Island Games. We making dreams come true. Play with Island Games. We paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market. You getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first. Guaranteed to pay. Island Games. We like them other jokers. We've been here from the start. From the bike to computer. Island Games. We gonna make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
Are you dreaming of an EV? Now is the time. Easy Car Sales is offering unbelievable deals on 2024 models with end-of-year discounts. Plus, quick and simple in-house financing makes it easy for everyone to go electric. Take a test drive and experience the thrill today at EV City on Abundant Life or Gladstone Road. Step into a smarter, more affordable drive with Easy Car Sales, your trusted EV and warranty provider since 2016.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
And we're back. I got a couple of quick texts to read, and then we'll get right into the pick. Good day, Pearly. I was for all that. I would not rush because they ain't doing them no justice. They rushing for no prize. Makes no sense. I would sit out until the new day. I saw that press release. That don't make no sense to me. But tomorrow, I promise you that Naughty will touch on that, and we talk a little bit more about that. Pearly, is the celebrity softball game for Dumbling still going to be held today due to the weather? I have not gotten an announcement, so I'm going to assume that they're still going to be played, and hopefully that the weather will clear up a little bit. Pearly, where can Thursday Night Football be accessed without having Prime? That's a very good question. Fortunately, I have everything possible you can watch the game on TV, so I don't know where you can watch it unless you get the NFL package. I don't know. I'm so sorry, but I will find out for next week where you can watch Thursday Night Football, and I should have known that, but I think it's only Prime. I don't know if the Canadian station on cable has it, but I do apologize. But what I would do is sometimes on cable in the 700 channels, they bring that game up, so it may be on 730, 705, or 735. So let's check the back end of cable and see if they have it there. My deepest apologies for not have been able to answer that question properly. Well, one game tonight, Thursday Night Football. The Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. It's a division game. 49ers are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. I don't know why, but Purdy has been a really good fantasy quarterback. And this is a tough one. Stafford has a lot to lose. Stafford is they're pretty evenly matched. He got about 300 yards more passing than Purdy, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm going to take the 49ers today, and I'm going to take the points. I could be putting my neck on the line with them, but I'm going to take the 49ers and the points today. Bet brought to you by Island Games. Don't forget, get your $20 in. You could bet a single game, you could bet parlay, and you get an opportunity to win a round-trip ticket for 2 plus tickets to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. So get in there, get into Island Games, and get your picks in. It's been a really good day. Interesting day, interesting week. Naughty will be back tomorrow. I'll be on with Naughty at 5. Eric, Clint will be there at 5 so we can do all the picks for the weekend. The NFL is heating up. 4 more games left. Been a great day. This has been Talking Heads Thursday on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Be safe.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
NRG is nutrition. Check out our world-famous smoothies. Signature quinoa is fit for a king and his queen. Open for breakfast, lunch, and now dinner. Each order is made with love and the highest quality ingredients and is nutritionally balanced. Visit any of our 3 locations. Old Fort Bay, open until 7:30 p.m. West Bay Street and Gladstone Road in the Monrose Complex, open until 4 p.m. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at NRG Bahamas. NRG, nutrition ready to go.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
About the game, the Cowboy roster and the franchise right now is essentially bankrupt. So Jerry Jones in his life, he was a wildcatter. I'll get to that in a minute. But when he's taken big swings, football and non-football, it's paid off. Remember, he bought an NFL team. I mean, wedged in to buy it. Jimmy Johnson always told me the first year and a half, he was paying bills. He took a big swing to buy that team, and he barely qualified. He fires Tom Landry. He hires Jimmy Johnson. He brings in Deion Sanders. Big swings, and Jerry's always been rewarded with those. It's when Jerry plays it safe, it doesn't work out. Re-signing Dak, because, as Dak's here, we'll be competent, we'll be good in the regular season, or replacing Jason Garrett with Mike McCarthy, somebody who needed a job and Jerry could control, or letting go of Amari Cooper to give us more cap flexibility, or let's pass on Derrick Henry because, at $8 million, it's a little too much. Every time Jerry plays it safe, it's all you get. He's preached that. Re-signing Dak. You really think Dak, forget the NFC, you think Dak's going to beat Josh Allen, Burrow, Herbert now with Harbaugh, Mahomes in a Super Bowl and hoist a trophy? Bruh, come on. Can we have a grown-up talk? Jerry also has to consider that Jaden Daniels is now in his division. Twice a year, 20 times minimum over the next decade. And Jalen Hurts, with that roster in Philadelphia, significantly better. The Lions are just moving into a 3 to 4 year dominant window. And oh yeah, the Packers and Jordan Love are stacked with young talent not being paid for several years. Again, that's just the NFC. Forget that in my lifetime, I've never seen a conference like the AFC, where the 5 best quarterbacks are all in their prime. Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson. So if Dallas, after they lose their next game, they're a 3-8 team. After they lose their next game at Washington, they face the Giants on Thanksgiving. If they lose that game, and I suspect they will, I like the Giants more, even with Tommy DeVito, I don't think Dallas wins another game. Carolina is trying to build a culture, build a staff, build momentum for next year, and find out if Bryce Young is the guy. They're playing for stuff. Dallas is playing for nothing. So let's go back. Start looking at the draft order right now. If Dallas doesn't beat the Giants. So Jacksonville and Tennessee are above them, but they play each other twice. Cleveland's too talented to not win a couple more games. Jets will win another game. Carolina wants to. I'm watching the Patriots. They're giving the Rams a struggle. They're going to win more games. They're playing for something. Rookie coach, rookie quarterback. Vegas, if the Cowboys beat the Giants, this may not matter. But if the Giants win, the Cowboys, in my opinion, it'll be the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Raiders all vying for that number 1 pick. And I'm here to tell you, if I was the Dallas Cowboys, I don't care about Dak's new contract. I would go get Deion Sanders, and I would pick Shedeur Sanders. If I had to give up Micah Parsons and 3 firsts, I would do it. You do not get out of bankruptcy putting $13 a month into your 401k. You get out of it with big swings. That's how you get out of it. You start looking at the draft order. You look at Dallas' schedule. The only team they play the rest of the year that's got nothing to play for is the Giants. If the Giants can beat them, and Dallas is awful at home, not much better on the road, they got a shot to get the number 1 pick. They got a real shot. Yes, Dak will be upset if you draft Shedeur Sanders. So what? Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson was upset. They moved off him. They're in cap hell. So what? The Denver Broncos are viable. Why? They went and got a great coach, and they went and got a great rookie quarterback. And all of a sudden, Denver's in the playoffs in the better conference. They may not stay there, but they went from cap hell, thin roster, missing draft picks, embarrassing. Is Sean Payton coach of the year? And Bo Nix, is he the best rookie quarterback? They took big swings. Sean Payton was a big, expensive swing, $15 million, $18 million a year. Bo Nix, a quarterback, play him day 1, big swing. Move off Russell Wilson and pay the contract. Pittsburgh gets him for a nickel. Pittsburgh wins, but so does Denver. You're not getting out of this mess. This roster's bankrupt. Move off Micah, give up 3 picks. If you don't beat the Giants and you got nothing to play for, I'd argue Brian Daboll has something to play for, his job. The weird Giants could run him out of town. But if you go to the end of the Troy Aikman era, after Troy Aikman left and before Tony Romo arrived, what did they do? They went and got Bill Parcells. That's the first thing. Let's go get Bill Parcells. And then they found Tony Romo. But the difference is Tony Romo was undrafted, so he was free for 5 years. Whoever gets this roster, you are handcuffed with Dak's contract. You know, Dak is a $90 million cap hit next year. Now, they'll restructure it. But if you go get Shedeur Sanders, who is a much better prospect than Dak, and Dak, by the way, after his first surgery, lost mobility. What's he going to be after this? Lisa Salter said last night, 8 months. Not back for 8 months. What? $90 million? He's not back in 8 months. The last surgery, he became immobile. He became Kirk Cousins. But he didn't throw as well as he. So what if he's upset? Russell Wilson was upset. Russell's happy now. You move Dak, even if you have to pay 80% of his salary. If you hit on a quarterback, if Shedeur Sanders is great, nobody cares. Tom Landry, I can't believe you fired Tom Landry 2 years later. Nobody cared. Jimmy Johnson. Deion Sanders, how can you bring in Deion Sanders? Oh, he's great, Super Bowl. Nobody cares. I can't believe Jerry bought an NFL team. He's a wildcatter. He can barely afford it. Jimmy Johnson wins. Nobody cares. Everybody now joins the avalanche. Everybody would crap on you with moving off Dak Prescott. Who cares? God, Joe Rogan goes through a controversy a week. Who cares? Win games. Take swings. Jerry was a wildcatter. And I'm sure most of you know what a wildcatter is. It's a speculation business. You're drilling holes in the earth and you don't know what's down there. But here's the thing. Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders are not speculation. You know what Deion is as a college coach and as a player and as a leader and as a culture builder. And I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders is a great prospect. He's the only quarterback in this class I like, but he's a great prospect. But if you want to sit around and be average, then make average moves. Don't offend anybody. Make Dak happy. But Russell Wilson was pissed when they got rid of him. He's happy now. Send Dak somewhere, pay most of his salary. Guy's going to get paid. I mean, you saw Dak about 3 weeks ago on the sidelines. Remember what the cameras caught him saying? This team blanking sucks. Those were Dak's words. The camera caught it. Does he really want to be there? If tomorrow you found out Dak went somewhere to an organization that lost a quarterback to injury and had a stacked roster, you think he'd be brokenhearted? He's a pro athlete. I wouldn't blame him. Pro athletes should take care of pro athletes. But, I mean, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts in division. I mean, the 5 great quarterbacks in the AFC all in their prime. All of them. You think you're winning with this roster? Take a huge swing. If you lose to the Giants on Thanksgiving because you're losing to Washington, you're a 10-point dog next week, you have a real shot to end up in that top 2 or 3. I'd give up Micah. I'd move 3 first-round picks if I had to. Of course, the Giants aren't going to give you that. They don't care, nor would the Raiders. But the Raiders play hard. The Raiders play hard. They play hard. They're going to win another football game in the next 6-7 weeks or whatever it is. Jerry's history is big swings. I don't even think Shedeur Sanders is a big swing. I think trading Micah 3 first-round picks is like, ooh. But this is not a Trey Lance situation in San Francisco. Shedeur can play. Shedeur's dad was the greatest corner ever. Shedeur can play. We got like a lot of games now. Again, other teams that have given up 3 first-round picks, you got a guy from a small college that we haven't seen much video. And Shedeur's been crushing it everywhere he's been. He has a chance to win the Big 12. And I got to tell you something. I got no problem with Deion Sanders as an NFL coach. Did you think he was going to stay in Colorado forever? It's a great story. It's not a great team. Colorado, when he took it over, was the worst program in the country. They don't have big NIL money. They don't have big boosters. And I think he's done a great job. And I think he loves what he does. And I think he's elevated the lives of young people. But when his son leaves, you really see Deion as the future of Colorado football. I can see him as the future of the Dallas Cowboys. That smells about right.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.